This video is about reclaiming your authenticity. You know the moment when you have grown authentically and you love the version of yourself, but for some reason you have outgrown your environment, your friends, your previous work, and things do not make sense anymore. You're in a space where you understand the familiar past, but you still don't know what the future looks like because you have not even started, or maybe you're in the journey of starting, but you still feel doubtful because things have not find a new normal yet. Now, this may look like that you're a second generational business owner, that you inherited your parents' business, and you want to do it your way, but at the same time, there's all these expectations from your parents trying to tell you that it has to be done a certain way. This could also be you leaving a group of friends that you have once resonated with, but you stop hanging out with them because you want a different thing and you're walking a different path. And for some reason, as you focus on your dreams, on your life, you just kind of got disconnected, right? Whichever situation you're in the journey of reclaiming your authenticity. Now, here's why you should watch towards the end of this video, because I'm going to cover a very, very simple, basic human psychology where we have two needs, authenticity and attachment, that seems to be a polarity that keeps us in internal conflict and we can't seem to get ourselves out of it, and how to actually resolve those things together. And then I'm going to share with you 4 steps to reclaim your authenticity, the stages and the paths of this development, and to free yourself so that you can live an authentic life and yet at the same time still feel like you have a healthy sense of belonging, that you feel that you're part of a community, part of people, where you're able to meet expectations from a place where it's coming from you rather from a place where you have to. If we have not met yet, my name is Karen Yang. I'm a spiritual mentor who help business owners, leaders, and professionals to end their chronic pain, fear, and stress, and to 2x to 7x their income, impact, and inner peace. I have 20 plus years of self-healing wisdom that I've learned from shamans all the way to thought leaders in subconscious mind, as well as business leaders to integrate conscious leadership with business strategies as well, creating healing in that process. I have successfully created spontaneous healing in my health, my business, and my relationships. Now, before I continue, I invite you to support this free content by sharing this video with the friends that you know that might need to hear this. At the same time as well, subscribe so that you don't miss the latest release of these videos. And if this resonates with you and you found insights that really hit home for you in this video, comment down below what you have taken away from this video and share some questions so that I can clarify any queries that you have. So, reclaiming authenticity is something that is really, really difficult for all of us, because authenticity is not something that we are trained or supported when we are young, right? But before we go into why we behave the way we behave, let me just define what authenticity really means. According to etymology, right, the root of the word, authenticity really means to act from your place of your own authority, right? And I've written here that the definition for authenticity for me is to claim one's unadulterated expression of self and to act with responsibility towards one's own autonomy. So there's a saying that in order to be the authority of your own life, you actually have to be authentic. And to be authentic, you actually need to be the author of your own life, because when we are growing up, we've been fed with stories, expectations, mindset, beliefs from our immediate environment, whether it's from our parents, friends, or in school, right, to tell us what we should do and be in the world, when authenticity is really about you walking your own path and figuring things out for yourself. Means what? There's no right, wrong, good or bad way to be authentic. And in the process of discovering authenticity, of course, the price to pay is that we sometimes might lose relationships. Sometimes we have to go into really difficult conversations where there is either an internal conflict or a conflict with those around us. And I've known many people who left marriages, friendships, family even, because the need to be who they are has come too strong and the people around them wasn't able to support their needs to be authentic. But why? Right? Why do we have these experiences? And I want to unpack this by drawing out a very, very simple diagram. Right? Now, the reason that why we behave the way we behave is because fundamentally we have two needs, right? One sourcing from a place of authenticity, as mentioned, which is one circle of the Venn diagram, and the other side of the circle is our source of attachment, right? Now, fundamentally in our nervous system, all right, we need the safety to be who we are, meaning what it looks like to listen to our gut instinct, what it looks like to follow our desires and our passion, when our boundaries being transgressed, how are we actually expressing anger and saying no. All of these things are actually authentic, and it's not right, good, wrong, or bad. It's just what subjectively as your own experience feels wrong for you or feels right for you. But at the same time, we need this safety to belong, right? In a community, in a society, in a family, where because your life depends on them. You know, as mammals, right? Biologically, we thrive in pods, in community, because we are completely helpless by ourselves. We need to be fed, we need to, love and care from other people so that our nervous system can process the emotions and the things that we need in order to feel safety and trust in our environment. We actually need to rely on other people. So here comes the dilemma, right? What it means to have safety to belong and safety to be me, and we are constantly fighting this equation, right? And if we lean too far from the safety to be me, and we're coming from a place of woundedness, the expression usually comes from a place of narcissism, right? And on the other side, right, is from a place of altruism, meaning that we are always giving and sharing and people pleasing, and it's always for the sake of the world, the community. In fact, a lot of the Eastern philosophy, Eastern culture, a lot of us are really used to this. We have to be kind, nice, polite, and to support the community because we want to create a harmonious space and environment for everybody. So we tend to avoid conflicts, conversations that needs to be there, right? And when we don't actually attend those conversations, eventually it will get stuck in our energy, and either our health gets into trouble, or for some reason it blows up in our relationship in ways that cannot be repaired. So this is where, in this space, in our nervous system, we have learned to be selfless. And on the other side, for lack of a better word, we learn to be selfish. Neither one of these is authentic. Not in this sense of authenticity, but in the sense of authentic in a way that you are actually are able to embrace both equations. And I'll share with you the 4 phases of authenticity that you might not even notice that it's there, because a lot of the time when we associate authenticity, we associate of the freedom to be who you are. But there's more than that, and I'll explain it in a while. And because of this, I want to actually rectify this Venn diagram. I know the sweet spot is actually in the middle. And to me, right, this is why I coined the word selffulness, which really inspired from the word mindfulness, which is really about being present fully, right? And when you're being present fully, you're able to meet your own needs at the same time meeting the needs of others, rather than coming to a conversation or a relational dynamic that is me versus you. It's really a conversation dynamic that is really about win-win-win. The we conversation that is really, really missing in most conflicts and in most relationships. And because we don't know how to have them, we lack the emotional intelligence or the leadership capacity to actually have them. And this is why most of us, don't actually bridge the gap, right? And now that you know that this is a part of your biology, this is part of your nervous system, and this is a part of your design, there's no need to fault yourself if you lean either one of this spectrum, right? And the invitation here is to bridge the gap. And this is why we go to therapy, we go to spiritual classes, and so on and so forth. But I'll say that a lot of the workshops, retreats, and courses that I have learned, a lot of them don't really talk about bridging the gap. They talk about it on one way or another, but not enough of bridging the gap. So I want to share with you right now how to actually bridge this gap. So I want to share with you the 4 stages of authenticity, where there's more definitions to it than you think, and it's not really about just being whoever you are, whatever you want to do, because that's just downright selfish, right? So how do you actually bridge the gap? It's the first understandings. We have an ego, right? An ego really means my sense of identity. And we always begin with the sense of I, right? And this sense of I is really something that is learned. And if it's something that is learned, you can unlearn it so that it can evolve and change. And if you know many spiritual concepts, it's about getting rid of the I, and getting rid of the I is the perspective of the selfless perspective, the altruistic perspective. You actually have to always be about the collective, right? But little did we know that I and we are one of the same. So what needs to happen is for this ego to mature in phases. The dotted line is the potential where the ego can expand and become a next level version of identity. And it takes a while to go from here to here and here to here and go to there. And this is where it's the evolutionary process of development where the ego needs to transform itself to become a bigger version of ego, right? The identity needs to include a wider sphere of awareness that you include other aspects of life besides itself. So what's authentic for the ego, and this is where the outgrowing can happen, right? You have to first dissolve your previous boundaries, right? You have to first dissolve what you think you know and unlearn a bunch of things. And then through the expression, through emotional integration, right? Where you start to feel a different way, see things a different way, think a different way, and you start to develop a different identity because you started to make different choices, different habits, different behaviors, and eventually the expression will come and you'll know it because things that used to resonate with you don't resonate anymore, and then now you have a wider circle of identity. And so on and so forth. I think this process is completely infinite in nature. And the point of healing, the point of doing transformational work is so that we discovered that I am you and you are me. And in the African philosophy, there's something called I am because we are. And to a point where your sense of identity shifts from ego to eco, where you have an ecological self. There's a Norwegian philosopher that coined the word ecocentric self. And the ecological self is basically seeing yourself as the world, that the entire earth is you and you are the entire earth. Seeing that everything is interconnected and not forsaking the identity of the self that is authentic. So there's 4 phases that I have discovered for myself and something that I've taught for the clients who work with me to pay attention to these 4 phases, because each phase has its own different definition of authenticity and has a different stage of what you need to do and how you need to actually show up in that sense, right? Phase 1 is to know yourself, right? And before you know yourself, you actually have to leave the known environment. You have to leave the known to know yourself. Because guess what? Our environment is bigger than us. The influence is more powerful than us. And leaving our environment can look like actually physically leaving a place, physically leaving your friends for a moment, physically leaving your parents for a moment. At the same time, having a digital social media cleanse that you're not looking at the same influences and people for a while, because every time there's a new information from your environment, whether it's from people that is right in front of you or people from the internet, it's influencing your sense of ego, your sense of identity, and you wouldn't know what is truly authentic to you until you completely empty the cup and do that unlearning first. So knowing yourself has two mini steps. One is to unlearn, and then of course relearn, not from books, not from podcasts, not from teachers or mentors, even though they can help. Depends what kind of mentors and teachers that you get. Is to learn from yourself. Know yourself is self-education, self-knowing. And there's no better way to know yourself than writing down, journaling down, excavating your subconscious mind to a point it comes to a place of authenticity. So that's stage 1 and phase 1. The next thing you need to do after that is to learn how to protect yourself. Right? I think there's a pressure when you learn to be authentically you, And when you find out what that looks like for you, you are eager and you want to share with those around you, when they might not even be ready for your new authentic expression. And sometimes you might meet with a facial expression of them frowning at you, questioning you, doubting you, or even make jokes that is harmless, that is also basically separating you, isolating you from them. Now, your authenticity has a price, by the way, and the price is triggering people. People feel triggered not because there's something wrong with you, it's just because it's different. That is different from their worldview, from what they know, and basically it's interrupting their pattern. And because it's interrupting their pattern in their nervous system, it can be perceived as fear, it can be perceived as, I'm not comfortable with this. So there's something that happens, it's called othering. People can make you like an other. So you can start feeling like an outcast if you have already learned about what you want and what you really are striving for, but you have not learned how to protect yourself. Over here, you have to learn to share your authenticity to those that know how to receive you and mirror that good traits back to you. And this is why I say sometimes great mentors can really help you, because they mirror what's true about you and show you a potential that you don't even know about yourself, because everybody around you is not giving you that mirror. True mentoring is becoming a true mirror. It's not about giving advices, it's about being a great mirror that reflects all the good, bad, ugly, and beautiful things about you, right? So over here, when you are trying to be yourself, it's actually a big emotional risk. So you actually have to expand to the amount of capacity that your nervous system can take to hold vulnerability. That you are different, that you can own who you are before it solidifies and integrates into something real, right? Now the next stage, after that you protect yourself, right? You perhaps isolated yourself for a while, you're in a different environment for a while, and you found the new love of the new expression that you have. Now it's really important to really expand yourself. And this is where I'll bring my authentic self-expression to my enemies, to people who hate me, to people who judge me, people who criticize me. And one of the biggest things as business owners these days, this is about putting yourself out on social media and sharing your truth and your services and your products and what you care about to the world, and risk having the whole world to look at it and judge you. But guess what? When you're authentic, you attract and repel people at the same time. The more authentic you are, the more magnetic you are, while you're going to attract more people that aligns with your values, your truth. You're also going to attract haters, people who's going to other you and comment bad things about you. So the truth of authenticity is about increasing in magnetism. And if you're a business owner listening to this, you might want to actually own this, right? And learn how to expand yourself in a graceful way so that you don't get stuck being criticized by a wrong mirror that is reflecting untruths about you, but their projection of their discomfort of their beliefs onto you, right? So the expand yourself is where we have difficult conversation. Yes, number one, put yourself out there. But also having high stakes conversation with your key relationships. Meaning, let's just say you have a second generation business owner, you're taking part of the business, and then your parents have one way to do it, and now they're passing it to you. This is where the high-stake conversation is to have, rather than I versus you. It's more like, how can we have a we conversation where I win, you win, and everybody win, and create a culture that can evolve what was before into a greater version where there's more impact and income, and a place where it's more healing and more peaceful. Being authentic you is not just being you in phase 1 and 2. Phase 3 is where you draw the bridge to connect with one another, and this is where selffulness is practiced. It's not easy. In fact, it requires a high level of leadership, a high level of compassion, a higher level of love, and not taking things personally when people don't understand you. All right? Last but not least, right, is the level where what I call in the African proverb Ubuntu, right? I am you, I am because we are. This is where this is phase. It's really not about trying to do anything, but you're truthfully peaceful with yourself. Plus, at the same time, have relationships that celebrates you. The only way you're gonna get new relationships that supports your highest level of authenticity is to put yourself out there because they are looking for you at the same time. And at this stage, authenticity is no longer a protection. All right? It's no longer your survival mechanism to run away from difficult tensions that your nervous system can't handle. This is where you have completely healed and your egocentric self is now an ecological self where you can hold differences, confusion, conflicts in the world. All right, now before you go, I'm just going to leave you with one mindset that is going to actually help you move through all of these stages. To be authentic and have relationships and healthy sense of belonging that really supports your authentic self-expression, my invitation for you is this mindset, which is focus on where you want to go, not what you want to get rid of. As you become a new level of version of yourself, as you carry a new level of leadership, as you carry new presence of love, and as you become more authentic and with the definition of an unadulterated expression of yourself from a place of love, right, and responsibility to act from your own sense of own autonomy, you're actually giving permission and you're sending a message for others that, hey, guess what? Your authenticity is acceptable too. Let's celebrate each other's diversity. And that in itself is going to create a ripple effect beyond your wildest dreams. In fact, you healing yourself to this level heals everybody else around you. So take this mindset as you move through all of these phases, and I look forward to see what's going to happen in your life as great, amazing things tend to happen, just like my clients, right? Their health starts to heal, their relationship starts to harmonize, as well as income and impact starts to multiply manifolds. If this is something that you really want to work with and you need support with and you need a true mirror, which I can do for you, then check out the link below where you can actually book a call with me to have this conversation, and I can help you support you in whatever stages of your life you're in, whether it's a business related, health related, or relational related issue, right? Just helping you to become more authentic. Things will start to shift because now the driver of the car is driving from a place of power, love, and peace. With that in mind, I'll see you next episode.